Hey y'all, it's Alexis from Ask Alexis here. And guess what? So I guess I should be introducing Penrose, but y'all remember we had Penrose on the comfy couch before, and guess what? We're gonna be doing it again. Um,
Hey,
so Penrose gonna be joining us once a month to discuss issues between cisgender, heteronormative black man and black women, or the black man and the black woman. How do we get along?
right.
Um, what we're gonna talk about today? Wait a minute. Say hi, Penrose. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Hello, world. How is everyone? Of course, I am Penrose Eames, and yes, I will be here once a month to, I don't know, to make you happy, piss you off, or just have a good conversation. But I'm here.
Well, we down for all of that on the comfy couch. It's all about being comfy and getting real.
All
So
right.
today we're going to talk about what it means to be loved as a black woman or as a black man. And we're giving our perspectives as cisgender, heteronormative. Knowing those are not the only perspectives. I just want to be very clear. It's just the ones we can speak from, the lived experience.
Right.
So I'm gonna let you go. Well, gender norms would suggest that I would go first, but I mean that I should go first. But I feel
Right.
weird. Like this is your first time back, so you go first. What makes you
Okay.
feel loved, black man?
Um, Security, honestly, and that word encompasses so much when it comes
You gotta
to
say that's a broad answer, my dude.
yeah. Because I had a conversation where a woman told me a woman can't go backwards financially and a man can't go backwards sexually. And so I started there. And the reason I feel that is because 9 times out of 10, since we're talking about cisgender black men, a black man wholeheartedly looks at sex as security in the sense of I'm taking care of you, I'm doing what I need to do. It's like, okay, if a woman does something for a man here, when he goes into his next relationship, he wholeheartedly will not be with a woman that does not do what the last woman did. 9 times out of 10, if a woman is with a man who financially has got her here, she's 9 times out of 10 not going to be happy with a man who can't do what the last man did. So I say security in a very broad term, but I would say
Now,
I need security. I'm
okay, go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry. I have a question. Go ahead.
For sure. No, go ahead. Ask your question.
No, because you was giving more definition. I shouldn't have cut you off.
No, you're fine. So I say security. I say I feel like respect is definitely in there. Security, respect, um, acknowledgement of who I am in your life, and honesty. If I got to be real about it, and I feel like if those using those, you can dive deeper into what all of those mean and how they uh, are encountered in the relationship or how they affect the relationship. But that would be it.
So the history in me has all kind of replies for all of those needs that have
Okay.
nothing to do with you. But my question is like, all right, so how much importance is like, so you had those things make you feel love. How
Mm-hmm.
close to those things are you, right? Like, so you like the importance of who I am in your life. Who are you in your women's lives, right? Like, who is that? Because I'm those needs, they all sound great, but then like in practice, I have found that Lizzo got a real cool line when she be like, "Why men great till they gotta be great?" And
I mean,
I say this, I've had a lot of like in my dating history, men are great at different things,
right.
but the things they not great at outweigh the things that they great at.
Um, I mean,
Like things I find valuable.
I can see that, and I can see that as being the truth. I remember, I heard that line too, and I think a lot of women resonated with that line because they was just we're not used to being hurt, but whether you used to being hurt or you had just got hurt for the first time, like people wanted to resonate with that line. But she is right. Only from, and I'll say not only, but I would say primarily, I feel like she's right because in our community, black men are I might have said this on your show before too. I know I say this in my personal life a lot. Black men are the white men of the Black community. We're allowed to get away with whatever the fuck we want, and we are told that it's that old additive, boys will be boys. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so Black women are taught to literally stand by somebody who treats them like shit because one day he'll be better. And so,
or because of this myth that alone is worse.
That too.
Like, here's the thing. If I could get dick, that's not a problem.
Right.
Getting low quality dick is abundant. Right? Like, there's a ton of people. So like people be acting like, oh, like if a relationship is not a benefit, it's a hurt.
I mean, is it though? Well, I guess, yeah. Because
if it ain't a benefit in a lot of ways, then it's like, why am I pouring into something that is not adding to my life when low quality dick is abundant?
True. And it's funny that you bring up low quality
men attached to quality dick. Let me change that. Because that's what I actually mean. Low quality men attached to quality dick. That's abundant. So if I'm not, like, the relationship is not the be all end all to life, especially with low quality men.
I feel like that's the one thing in the Black community that we are taught to do is to go out here and fuck. And so because of that,
get good at it.
We get so used to that, right? And it's sad that I like, and I mean, and I'm a victim of it as well. Like, I remember my father teaching me. I was taught to keep a clean house. I've known how to cook since I was young. I've known how to do everything that a man is supposed to do, but I was taught how to do these things simply for the conquer of sex. I was not taught do these things because once you walk into a union, you need to be a better person, or do these things, or like now. One of the things I wholeheartedly do, which at one point in my life I thought was stupid, is I wholeheartedly vet a woman about her past, about her lineage, like how we was talking beforehand. Like, and it's not to be like, oh, all in your business, but I mean, you probably should know that my mother's bipolar, and like every man on my dad's side in my direct lineage is a diabetic. You probably should know these things because those are things that could possibly turn, you know what I mean?
It's funny you see that as relevant there, but when I think about what we was talking about on the beginning before the call, you hadn't connected it, but just it's relevant information.
I've always connected. I think when we was talking before the call, since it was more of a personal thing, I think, but no, I wholeheartedly know off top. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that I talk to. I might not just lead in a conversation like, hey, I need you to know that I'm, my family diabetic, and it might happen to me one day.
That would make me be like, whoa.
Right. Like on date one.
I'm a person that likes to know stuff, but I'm not, that made me think like, wait a minute, you asking me to check your sugar? And while if we was to link together, that might be a thing I would do. I'm not signing up for that. That's something I do because I love you. But if I don't love you, I don't have to start.
Facts. And these are facts, right? And so, and that's, it just, like I said, I do that now because how we were talking beforehand, my longest relationship was 6 years. And I learned so much about that woman in those 6 years that when it was over, it was like, had I done my proper due diligence, the relationship possibly could have not only still been going on, but it could have been beautiful as fuck. Because I feel like sometimes we run into walls, and when we run into these walls, we wholeheartedly look at that person and say, oh, you don't love me, you don't respect me, you don't care for me. And it could be that, or it could be something totally different, which, for instance, in that relationship, we didn't find out that she ended up being bipolar, and we did not find it out until the relationship was pretty much like over. Like, it was too much hurt, too much pain. And now that I go back and I look at certain situations and certain ways she behaved, or certain ways she reacted to things I did, you look and be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? What if we would have known then? Then I would have known how to deal with different shit, or I would have known how not to press certain buttons, or I would have known how to love her in the way that she needed to be loved, as opposed to me just being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So, I feel like to be loved, and that's another thing too, to be loved, you have to love properly. You can't love somebody the way you want to love them. You have to love them the way they need to be loved. And if you can't do that, you kind of wasting somebody's time. Because I feel like we all got the equal amount of love to give out. And I'm not saying that, again, you shouldn't be somewhere where you aren't appreciated or you feel like that the due diligence that you are putting forth is not being recognized or accepted. But at the same time, like, you got some people who, for real, they get in relationships and a motherfucker can tell you, like, yo, I need my space. Like, I'm going through something, I need space. And some people's space is, oh, let me give you a couple hours. Some people's space is, yo, I don't want to talk to you for 2 weeks. How are you able to be in that relationship and deal with that or not?
So here's the thing. Some people, now some of those qualities, I think that people, so all right, you didn't ask me yet because we're not there, but I got to say this. So this is a segue, y'all, because you brought that up. So Bill Gates go away for a think week and he sit at this house, or he got this place he go, and he take all the books and his assistant know to pack the books. His wife know he gone in his little cabin and he gone for a week.
Right.
But this Bill Gates we talking about. You can't, and with your regular job, walk in this house and tell me you ain't gonna talk to me for a week and expect me to just be like okay with that. Or like I'm gonna go get a room for a week and expect me to just be okay with that.
Why not?
It's not about monetary things. It is about, for me, when I think about what a relationship adds to my life, it's about what I want out of, I wouldn't necessarily want it from Bill Gates, but the things that I get that, like, so if he need that week every so often and all the rest of the time, I get all the rest of the life and access and all of that go along with Bill Gates, right, then I that has more value than me wondering if your week in the room is with you fucking basic ass Keisha.
I mean, but wouldn't that have more to do with lack of communication in a relationship or insecurity that is built upon self as opposed to me needing to think week?
Answer that differently.
Like, I don't, so if okay, so I'll give you another, for instance. There would be times where I'll get up at 2 a.m. and I literally just drive through the city. And I would get calls like, yo, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm just driving. And of course, that was never considered a good enough answer because, oh, it's 2 or 3 a.m. Clearly you are out cheating. And I'm like, nah, I'm out thinking. Like, so that's what I'm saying. If now I didn't go into my relationship saying, hey, from time to time, I'm gonna get up in the middle of the night and I'm gonna just go drive, because I had already been so used to doing it in my single life that it's just something that that you should talk about that I didn't. So I said that to say, if it was a thing of,
what was the solution to that? So like, was that not a good enough answer, or was that a good enough answer?
It became, once we got deeper into the relationship, it was a good enough answer. I think once somebody understands, pattern is a real thing and people don't recognize it. You can tell a lot by a person off their pattern. And I think once she realized that my pattern didn't change and that it would be sporadic times that I would do this driving, but I would do this when it was like something heavy was on the relationship. It's time to move. We got to do something with the kids. You want to go on like this fucking crazy ass trip and I just need time to think. It's easier for me to disconnect and just drive at 2, 3 in the city of Detroit. There's really not too many people outside.
No, I understand that. And sometimes going for a drive helps me think. But if I were in a relationship and that came up and it was strange, I might, like, we would negotiate something like, all right, we'll turn on your GPS. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right. And
it's like, so like making accommodations like that is not like, that's a part of the skill for connection. But
I don't understand why I got to turn my GPS on. I mean, I feel you. And actually, I'm not going to even use that as an argument of point because that could go way different than what we're talking about.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to. I'm asking you to help me feel more comfortable, just like you asking me to accept that you go for drives at 2 or 3 in the morning and not feel uncomfortable.
No, and that's why I said I wouldn't use it as
like, it's reasonable to make accommodations. Like, all right, because you know how it could look. You know what I'm saying? You know what it could be. Even if I say, oh, I trust you. Like, yeah, we don't live in a world, like, people still be people. And I think that it's not, I think that sometimes reassuring your partner because you feel like it attacks your character. So like not you, but like people, it's almost like having to reassure your partner is an insult to your character. And so you receive it as your partner insult your character instead of saying, I'm feeling uneasy, please comfort me.
No, you are 100 on that. That's exactly how that goes. You're right.
And so then now we can get into what it takes to make me feel loved.
Right.
First of all, asking questions for clarity.
Okay.
That is a big one, because then I feel like you're trying to understand me instead of tell me what I feel or should not be feeling.
Okay.
Someone who wants to create experiences where I feel the experience of love. Meaning like they want to love me as an action and then they do something behind it to do that.
Right.
Acts of service is my love language. So doing stuff to make my life easier, like that lets to me, it helps me feel understood as a person and then valued for who I am instead of how I perform.
That's big. That last one is heavy. I like that. Like that's something that I think is widely overlooked in relationships. Just in life, period. Definitely in relationships.
It has become this like I have to earn my love by doing all the things right, which is not valued. Like you don't do your children like any other relationship. Well, some families do that, but like outside of toxicity, it is normal and healthy to love with action and value with like for all the things that people are without them having to be perfect.
Right.
As like a skill for connection. But we, the Black culture, and maybe others, but I'm talking about us, have been so traumatized and so like pent against each other that it's almost like I'm coming to the table looking for you to be taking advantage of me, so I can't give you, but I got to piece out the love till you earn it. And I don't want to go through that experience, because for me, that feels like I'm trying to convince you to care about me. And I want a caring partner.
Right. As you should.
I want someone who cares about my emotional stability, because I'm better when I'm more emotionally stable, not trying to tell me how I should or shouldn't be feeling, because it's irrelevant at the point that I feel anyway. What you think I should or shouldn't be feeling is irrelevant.
Right.
Deal with what is instead of what you think should be, you judgmental fuck. Sorry, I'm triggered. And then I react like that, and now I'm the more, you know what I'm saying? Really, I'm just sensitive. You touch my soft underbelly in a way that wasn't loving, is how it feels. Right. It's so funny. I am sensitive, but that is how I've learned to not respond that way. It doesn't make other people feel loved. I like to laugh, and someone who does things to make me laugh or feel better when I'm sad. It makes me feel loved and cared about. Because once again, I like to feel cared for even when I'm off. Because I'm off sometimes.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't like to be off, I'm a dominant personality. I'm like A-type extrovert. When I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off, I'm sensitive and tender and fragile. And and sometimes I don't know what to do. And I might be like sad and like just want to curl up and feel like, you know, I climbed up into, I hate to say it, but Papa's lap. You know what I'm saying? I might want to feel that way. Yeah. And it doesn't mean, but I don't,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to have to, like, sometimes I feel like dudes, or in my experience with the dudes I chose, because I'm taking responsibility, I have felt like if I do the Papa's lap thing, then all of a sudden I'm no longer capable. And it does not make me feel loved when my capability is traded for my tender moments.
And your capability shouldn't be traded. I think that when the focus was on the man side, I think that's why when I said security, because you brought up laughter, and I think that is one of the realest things. We don't look at the quote unquote small things as being big things, because sometimes, okay, like I was dating a young lady, and I can't remember the particular reason why she got in her feelings, but we were sitting around and it became a very awkward silence. And it wasn't like, that mad or people are cussing each other out or nothing like that. But I just knew she was in a place that she did not want to be. And no matter what I offered, it just wasn't bringing her out of it. And I sat there and I was just like, oh, we can just be silent. And she died laughing. And it made the night the rest. You know what I mean?
It's so, and you care to go through the gambit, right? And so at that point, you get to the place, and it's the brat of me talking. And it might have been some real shit, but that brat is still who's hurt when the real shit happened. Yeah. So like you go through, I'm not letting go of this feeling. No, I want to be mad or I want to be hurt or whatever it is. I'm hurt, I'm processing. That's not what I need. And then you find the crack in whatever my armor is, and the fact that you cared, I'm going to laugh and you're like, well, damn, now I'm ridiculous. And so let's just,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes that starts the conversation too. Sometimes that lets somebody, that makes somebody feel okay with letting you know where their pain is coming from or where this hurt is coming from.
I think Funshine would agree with that, even though there's many Funshine, and I know Tenderheart would.
Right.
For sure. Right?
I love your Care Bears.
Do not be wanting to, you see this? Every time you look at Grumpy Bear, he got the side eye and the same face.
Right. Every time.
Stand to the
side. He is side eyeing you at all moments in life.
And they sit here, and you see even like the big Grumpy Bear up here is doing it. Every time I look, everybody be smiling. I'm like, damn, Grumpy, you always grumpy. Because he's side eyeing. Well, not every time. I don't really think they're alive, but it's still I still feel that way.
Right.
And now, what was we saying? I got the Care Bear.
No. I was just saying that sometimes, when especially when you want to love your woman the right way, it takes. For one, I feel like men are way more fragile than women. That's just my personal opinion.
And some of y'all punish us for that, and I do not like that. That just
right.
makes me feel love.
And it's not your fault. And I think a lot of that is, I mean, don't get me wrong. Once you get to a certain level of adulthood, you should try to figure get help for your problems if you haven't figured them out. But I also do feel like a lot of it comes from being told as men, don't cry. When you're a boy, you a punk if you cry. You can't show emotion. And we get to a point to where we dealing with women. And again, in my own personal opinion, y'all are the most emotional, dopish creatures that God could have ever created. So I don't think a man gives off emotion in one of three ways. It's usually just very basic ways that we give off emotion. And women, like you said, I went down that gambit. I went through the gambit with her to find out, yo, what can I do? Because you are my woman. And I think it could have been that time where I'm like, yo, all right, you sitting here and you just mad. Fuck, what the fuck you mad for? And I could have wholeheartedly just dismissed her energy as get the fuck over it. When in actuality, a lot of times when y'all are mad or sad or indifferent, happy, whatever the emotion is, a lot of times it's not that you really want a man to fucking go through the trials and tribulations. It's more of a thing of again, loving you the right way. Because you're right. A lot of times as men, we make y'all feel bad for being emotional, and that's not okay. Because then all it does is put up another shutter in the relationship. Now you feel like you can't be emotional.
I've cut off the bear, and I'm not saying that this always happens for me, but it can. But to my clients, a lot of them they can't get their head into sexy space because they can't feel tender in your embrace. Yep. Right? They don't trust. So the thing is, those moments, what I don't think dudes realize is they erode the trust that you value me.
Say that again.
So if when I'm hurt, you kick me when I'm down, is what that feels like. Even if I don't if I don't know how to process it, what I feel like is I can't be soft in front of you. Right. Sex is soft a lot of times, even if it's rough. It's soft for the woman's experience. So it if I can't be that way with you, it's gonna be harder for me to reach orgasm. It's gonna be harder for me to, you know what I'm saying? So to want to. It's going to be harder for me to relax in it because I don't trust that all parts of me are loved by you. It's not even a matter of expecting you to be perfect in it. It is like, but when you have disgust, and that's the problem, that's the trauma like that exists, that has to be like scooped out of us as a people, the disgust for emotion. But we had to suppress our emotion, our responses in order to survive during the Jim Crow. And that is the start of emotional, well, the next iteration, not the start of emotional abuse. But like, because we're not allowed to react in humanity. We have to react in submission.
Right.
So inside a relationship, those unexpressed emotions then become a part of the dynamics.
True.
And then like now we taking that out on each other instead of scooping it out at a soul level. So like if you are kicking me when I'm down, you're not my teammate.
Right.
And as much as I want you to be my teammate, and I might find more things valuable about you, until I heal all of my own trauma, I can't feel the same level of comfortable with you because I've been through too many threats. And now you just showed me how to move with you.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll move on.
Right. I think too, like you said, a person can't kick you when you're down. And a lot of times they don't think that they are, but they wholeheartedly are. And I remember telling somebody, like one of my exes, she would be like, when she would get mad, she would always say, "You the biggest piece of shit." And to some people, that's just fight talk, right? You just angry. I don't know why, but for me, that wholeheartedly like made me feel horrible. Like I know I'm busting my ass, I'm paying these bills, I'm loving you the right way, at least I think I am. And when you come say this to me, and I would say like, yo, I don't care what we arguing about. Don't say that. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times when you say to somebody, yo, just don't do this one thing. I understand that you probably don't mean it this way, but please don't do that. And they continue to do it anyway. It makes you now feel as if, all right, so whatever the fuck I'm saying is no longer important.
My heart used to be.
Exactly.
Now every time. Side eye.
Right. Side eye. Because I don't want to argue with you. Because I'm a person that believes in fighting fair. And I'm bringing all of this up to say, because you have brought up not being attracted to the person and you can't even like be sexy or be soft in your sexiness. I remember a woman I was with, once we got past the learning how to argue or fight fair part, right? I ended up, still breaking up with this woman, and people who saw her and then saw my next girlfriend was like, "Oh, you done bossed all the way up." And I'm like, in this relationship though, I'm like extremely sexually unsatisfied, extremely like emotionally unsatisfied. And I remember my homegirl was like, "Yo, the reason that because over here, even though, like I said, 6 years, it was a little too late that we found out certain things, we ended up breaking up. I wholeheartedly know that the woman over here was more attractive. She had more money. She had more going on in life. But I had to think about it. When somebody loves you wholeheartedly for exactly who you are, or when you go through issues and y'all can get through issues together, it like the sex was amazing. The trials, the learning the trials and tribulations and going through stuff. I always felt more. I felt more of a triumph over here than over here. When you're not connected to somebody, and it's like because the second woman was, oh, I'm not emotional. Oh, I'm not this. I'm not that. But now I got to be there emotionally for you when you need me to be, but you don't know how to be there emotionally for me. And I don't know if any man that's listening will agree with me or not, but I wholeheartedly was like, I can't sleep with you, Slim. Like, I don't want to. You're not as fine as you are. Your soul is now good to me. And I remember one time she was like,
what was she not doing what would have met your emotional needs, and what was done that wasn't meeting your emotional needs?
The worst thing you could tell a man is, I see your potential, but don't tell no man no shit like that. Because by telling me that regardless of what anybody wants to say, potential is nothing more than energy that's not moving. So if you see that I could be in a better place, simply, you know what I'm saying, love me where I am. My thing is this: love me where I am, and if that's not for you, then move on. But don't pretend to love me for who I am, but then tell me, you know, you could be doing better. You could be doing more. That's fine. I could be. But how about we walk on that path as a path in a relationship, not you attempting to fucking build a bear. I ain't no fucking build a bear. I'm a man.
So can we talk about that a little bit? Because I have I have some confusion there too. So in my past situation, we both were at like a level financially that kind of like, right, when we started. Right. And then I got into a better space and he did not. But I'm like, hey, come here, we could do this. And right. Because then, and these are the benefits. All these things are better than all these complaints you've already told me. And so then there was like, but then now I got to look at whatever in him is not taking advantage of these clearly better decisions. And right. They still want me to be there for you emotionally about the stuff that's stressing you out. And then that stuff that's stressing you out is causing you to be less present and available for me. How do you like? How do you deal with that? Like, what's because that's what it looked like from my side. But you saying like, don't tell me I need to do better. But in that situation, sometimes like need to do better is need to do better.
I'm not saying don't tell me I need to do better. I feel like as my partner, if you see that I'm slacking somewhere and you wholeheartedly, if you love me, you should speak up. What I'm saying is don't dangle it as something that is the reward of the relationship. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm doing me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If you don't catch up, I'm gonna leave you. Now, if I don't catch up because I'm just wholeheartedly a lazy motherfucker, then by all means. But because you excel to a certain level, like you said, now you up here, he down here, and you telling him, hey, let me show you this. Now, if he doesn't want to,
I mean, like, I just make this job pays more money. It wasn't like me looking at up here like, oh, this job pay more money and you work the same amount of hours, and now it's flex time. So all of that shit you got to worry about with scheduling and all of that, you ain't got to. Right. You show up whenever you want. They don't care. They not you. Right. And then I get money for you signing up. Like, why wouldn't we do this?
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
And you get health insurance. Like,
that was him. That was that dude not necessarily believing in what you were saying. Or a lot of men wholeheartedly do not know how to
believe it. The checks is there.
Well, not necessarily believe it, but a lot of men are very uncomfortable with their woman doing better than them first. Which I don't get that. I feel like as people, that's the whole point of people. We how we were talking before about motherfuckers put too much emphasis on gender roles. Like, who I can give less than two shits if my old lady make double what I make, as long as you're not trying to.
But hold on, because you're going a little bit. This is relevant information. I noticed that I remember asking him like, for what is excellence your standard? Because I started noticing everything he was doing was like subpar, but I still loved him.
All right.
But I need you to do better.
Yeah, and that's fine.
You're not even applying the standards of excellence when you're doing this shit.
Oh no, yeah, that's not your fault.
I asked him to paint the wall. He got a phone in one hand and a roller in another hand.
Nah.
And then you want me not to like, but wait, like, nah, you need to do better. Right. This was your kid, you be fussing.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing of being in a relationship and not telling your partner they should be doing better or how to do better. Is when you ridicule them or berate them because they're not doing what you feel like they should be doing. I feel like at some point when you say, all right, bet, I feel like you should be doing this. And they say, all right, I'm going to do it. And they never do it. Then it's to say, all right, bet, it's time for me to go. Sometimes we want to say, the people think that because the harder you come down on somebody, it's going to eventually make them be like, oh, I now see what you're saying. Nah, sometimes people learn through loss. And if you come to a point where you say, all right, this is my life. This is where I see myself doing. I know I could be with this person as long as they step up and do this. That's fine. That is 100% okay. And it's 100% okay to look at this person and be like, you know what? You're not doing what I need. That's, as humans, we grow. Yeah, the woman that was over here, we both was right here on the money level. And as I grew, then she grew. Then I grew, then she grew. And it made, you know what I mean? Because it was never a thing of her. I would come to her like, yo, let me show you X, Y, and Z. And either it was for her or it wasn't, but it was never a you ain't doing what I'm doing, so let me go out here. Nah, Slim. I chose to spend this part of my life with you. If I bring something to you and you wholeheartedly are trying to like tear it down and be toxic about it, then it's my choice to say I'm gonna stay or leave. But if I bring you something and I know that you're trying, I see that you busting your tail, maybe this part isn't for you. But just because this part isn't for you, maybe you glow up somewhere else. It's not a thing of being like, yo, you got to do better, and you're wrong for telling your mate that they should be doing better. No. I feel like when you tell your mate you should be doing something better, and they're trying, and you still like, well, this person and that person said, and this person said, like, yo, I'm not sleeping with them. I don't pay their bills. I don't cut their mama grass. They're not helping me raise my kids. Stop talking to me about what this person said. Now, if you don't want to be with me because you feel as if the life that you lead, I don't fit there, by all means, that's okay with me. That's a conscious decision you made. But to say that I'm doing this, you need to be doing this, but because you ain't, I'm gonna just keep dangling this. It's like people dangling a relationship. Oh, if you don't do better, I'm gonna leave you.
Oh, I don't that.
I don't.
Yeah, don't
right. That's
that.
what I'm saying.
You're not loving me, then so go ahead.
Right.
I don't want then you don't love.
Right.
Like, you're not loving on me. You're looking at me through a lens of contempt.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So when you said like, you know, you showed him things. If he didn't want to elevate, then no, it's wholeheartedly okay for you to be like, all right, I'm out. I can't do this. But yeah,
people don't want to. I don't want to do that. What I wanted was, I want him to do better. I didn't want to just leave and go. You know, like that.
I'm right.
I've left many times in my life, and that didn't give me a committed. Well, at the time, in a committed relationship, you want a committed relationship, but like leaving isn't what you want to be doing. You don't get in a relationship to want to leave.
True indeed, but you also don't get in a relationship to be way more emotionally scarred than you were before you got in it.
That's true. Some of the stuff I'm just giving you pushback now because I
know. I know. We just having back and forth. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and that's just, because
I agree with you. If they're not loving you the way you want to be loved, then sometimes you have to decide: are you going to accept the way they're loving you, or are you going to and find other ways to get your needs met? And I don't mean by cheating. Or are you going to find somebody else to love you?
Right. Really. I mean, love is the way we want to be loved on each side, whether man or woman. And for one, it has to be told clearly. It has to be discussed. We have to stop thinking that just because we get into these relationships and, for lack of a better term, I use the honeymoon phase. When that's going on, oh, you know what? Somebody said to me, say, you know what's wrong with relationships? Motherfuckers get to thinking. And I was like, what do you mean? Say, when you fall for somebody, you wholeheartedly, when you holding that in your mind, who you want, that person comes along. Now, I don't care what nobody says. That's the one truth I know for a fact works. If you hold that person, they come along. And when things get to going well, you all in love, you all happy, things is just amazing. And the one time something disrupts the chemistry, we get to thinking way too deep about that one thing, and it leads to this thought, to this thought, to this thought. So instead of just operating off love, we now operate off thought. Oh, well, this made me think this and think that. And before you know it, instead of just having a clear conversation and staying in that space of operating from love, which takes meditation, it takes praying, it takes actually being in the space to want to be there. But when you get out of that space and you base your relationship off thought instead of feeling, that's really where relationships start to fall apart. I'm not saying that anybody should be in something that does not benefit you. Like you said, you should not be in a relationship that is a liability in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But a lot of people get in relationships and they think that everything is going to be 100% hunky-dory. And it can be, as long as we operate from a space of love and not a thought process of what if. So loving properly, it's hard, but it's worth the work, if you ask me.
Which is why sometimes I think I want a relationship. So I want a relationship. Let me be clear. I know I want a relationship. Right. I know I want to be loved.
Right.
But if it ain't that, I don't necessarily feel like I'm missing out.
No, and I feel you.
It's
And
a job.
that's healthy though. That's healthy as fuck. Like, you know how many people are like, oh, I'm just gonna deal with this and maybe they'll change. Nah, you don't even know what you want, or you know what you want, but you put yourself on the back burner. You put your feelings to the side. Like I had to learn that. Like, I love being in love. I love being in relationships. But if you don't light my fire the way I need it to be lit, what really is the point? And we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves wholeheartedly being in relationships that don't benefit us. So when that relationship is gone now you're looking around like, who am I even?
Well, I do feel like people lose themselves, but I think the people who lose themselves didn't really have a grip on themselves before they got into the relationship. And so, because I had to love to know that I like loving.
Right.
But I didn't know who I was when I was loving before. You know what I'm saying? Like now I know who I am. I have a vision for my life that is mine for my life. That's my dad, y'all. Hey, Dad, close your bedroom door, please. That TV loud. Okay. I am distracted. Tell me what I was saying, Penrose.
You were saying when you hold on, because now I'm trying to get the exact words because I wholeheartedly went somewhere else too. I almost want to be like, that's my homie's dad. No, we were talking about the way you want to be loved, and when you aren't being loved properly versus when you are being loved properly.
I wish that would have drew back. So we'll just segue into something else because I do not remember what I was talking about.
It's all good.
I know I am setting new. Oh, we lose ourselves. There we go. Losing. Now that I know who I am, I can see if I'm losing myself instead of like. Now I haven't had kids with nobody. That I know that like you birth a child, you lost yourself. Because some of your some of yourself literally just popped out. But it's not worth it to me no more to lose myself. I used to be trying to find my value in a relationship.
Right.
I was a pygmy. I hate to say it. I was a pygmy. It's embarrassing, but healing is when you own your shit and evolve. And I have evolved. I am not a pygmy. Because my value isn't the relationship, and like trying to find it in the relationships, then I would just blame them for not like giving me my value when like, so everything that they did wrong felt like it was a representation of my value.
Right. And it really was like, not at all.
Really just of their character.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that right there is like, I think a big thing that so many people go through and they don't realize it. People, oh, this person over here is being really, really mean. What did I do wrong? This person over here is treating me like this. What did I do wrong? You probably didn't do nothing. Their character is just their character,
But that's the thing, that finding myself and defining myself, because yesterday was that day in Kwanzaa. Kuji Jakalia is self-determination. Yes. So defining myself, I got to decide what my parameters are, right? Like, so how do I treat people? Which was my start on how people have to treat me. Now I'm at a stage where I recognize those two things don't have to be the same.
Right. They don't at all.
But I'm starting to realize that even in my standards for friendship, my boundaries, I want happy people around me, but not people who are just positive. People who are happy. And you ain't got to be happy all the time, but happiness and practicing happiness has to be a priority for you, because I have found that I'm a lover and I'm a fixer.
Okay.
People with problems gravitate towards me because I like coming up with solutions.
Remember what we was talking about, how we was twins before man? Shit.
But the thing is, I recognize that that's not healthy for me in my home. Okay. I was the partner that you talked, the Build-A-Bear. Like my friend even said to me, like, you always get Build-A-Bears. but it's because I didn't know that that was my value for the world, not my value to my man.
Right. Yo,
like
man.
I don't want to be operating that way at home. I want to be able to be at home and curl up. But I didn't know I wanted that because I, different trauma and shit like that.
No,
I didn't know that I do want to feel protected, but I thought protection was dominance.
Right.
Like I thought you saying I can't protect myself, and it's like, but I am 38 and been living all this time, and I ain't saying that I ain't been through some shit, but I ain't died.
Right.
And then if I'm dead, who gives a fuck what you do in retaliation, nigga? I'm dead.
Oh, I'm dead. Exactly.
Right? I hate, and I find a lot of dudes be like, if somebody do something to you, I do this. What you gonna do to stop, to prevent that from happening?
Right.
You ain't.
And that's like protection. we got to take protection a step further. I remember one time
create safety. Make me feel safe, not protected.
Right. I remember being at a bar, and if you know me, for those who may see this who may know me already, I get really loose lit when I'm drunk. I'm not disrespectful. I don't tell secrets or nothing like that, but I express my emotions a lot. And there was a young lady that I was extremely interested in, and I'm drunk and I'm out with some friends, and then I got back to my house and my homegirl was like, "Do you remember anything you said yesterday?" And I was like, "Not really." I was like, "Why, did I offend somebody?" She like, "Nah." She like, "But the woman that you like, you didn't speak about her in a bad light. You just overshared." And she was like, "When we talk about protecting people, sometimes you got to understand, like, the way you speak about people is part of that protection. You know what I'm saying? The thoughts that you share, the memories you share, the light that you put people in is part of that protection." And so I said all of that to say, you're right. Like, men wholeheartedly, I go do this, I go do that, and you very well could be, or you very well could, but where's the safe space created so that don't even have to be a thought process? You know what I mean? And like, you know what? And not to get off track, this is kind of all on the same track.
You're not protecting me, you retaliating on your behalf of feeling
exactly
attacked. Like, it's not about me, it's about you.
Yep. Men, you know what, too? Men have to learn it's okay. What's the word? It's okay to fail. It's good failure, though, not bad failure. I feel like there's two different failures: good failure, bad failure. I feel in relationships, we get so caught up on, I got to be the leader, which, like you said, that ends up turning into a man trying to be dominant as opposed to leading. Leading means let me listen to the person I'm supposed to be leading to. Let me take all of this in, and then I'm gonna make my decision. Sometimes dominance is,
I'm not looking for a leader.
I mean, whether you're looking for one or not, if you come across a man that does not want to lead, then you didn't come across a man. And what I mean by that,
I agree with that. And
but when I say lead, hold on, let me finish. I'm not saying that everything is supposed to be his way. Everything that's supposed to be done is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I remember my grandmother taught me a house should have a woman's look and a man's feel. When you come into a woman's house, you're supposed to be able to look around and be like, "Yeah, damn, this is beautiful." But you also supposed to be able to know that I can't fuck up in here because that man wholeheartedly protects this space. That's what I mean. When I say leader, I guess I am looking at it from the I don't know, just from the way that the world says it. I'm not saying that a man should be more dominant or a woman should be more dominant. I'm saying that regardless of what anybody thinks, I do honestly believe, since we are talking cisgender black men and black women, I do believe that both of us have a place. And I don't mean your place is in the kitchen and mine is in the field. No, I mean, in the sense of making you feel secure and you making me feel secure, we definitely have a place in that relationship that you don't hold my place and I can't hold yours. You know what I mean? So in that sense, that I guess that's what I mean as quote unquote leader, because in a relationship, you can still be the leader in certain situations as well. That's what I'm saying. It's not a thing of you following me and just doing what I say do, but I believe.
What's the place?
The place is whatever makes you feel secure. It's just like how I told somebody in all my relationships. And most relationships, the woman is the cook, right? The woman is the cook. The woman takes care of the kids. And I can't tell you the last time I've been in a relationship where I wasn't a fucking cooker and the goddamn kid taking care of her. That's my role, and I feel okay with that in a sense of when it comes to motherfucking, okay, I did all the cooking, right? All the cooking in my household. My ex tried to go grocery shopping. She wholeheartedly would fight you. Like, no, like, this is what I do. This is my, like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know if you watch Family Guy or whatever, but there's a scene where Peter goes grocery shopping and Lois is like, what are you doing? And he was like, you said you wanted me to do more stuff around the house. And she said, yeah, around the house, but not grocery shopping. That's me. And she wholeheartedly beat him up, right? I said that to say, like, in that realm, she never once ever would come in and be like, what you cooking, how you cooking, and why you cooking it. But I also once I realized the roles in our relationship, I never once was like, yeah, I'm gonna go do the grocery shopping for you, because I know this is where you want to be. This is part of the relationship where you pull the lead wagon. You the leader when it comes to pulling this. You the lead. It's even like everybody know that's wholeheartedly my son. That was her stepson. But certain situations, when it comes to going to talk to the teachers or dealing with friends and their mamas, that's where you lead at. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily saying the leader in the sense of you got to do everything one person says or one person defines the relationship. I think you both can be leaders.
Where I'm tender with that is when I look at what I feel like people generally mean around that, which is not what you described, is that, so I have a vision. I'm share future or bust. I am a solopreneur. I'm a world builder. Like, it's impact. I have things I feel called to do.
Right.
So whoever I would be in romantic relationship with, for me, it is a requirement that they support that vision.
Yeah, for sure.
And that also means that they can't have a competing vision.
As they should not. Right.
Or we're like, that's the vision. There's no
right.
And so then that means that in a lot of situations, I would be the leader more because I'm the one with the vision and the calling. But it don't mean like, but I want like, but so it's like, but I need someone to reflect ideas with. I need someone to partner with. I would want, if they had like complementary, like, so I got this thing, this skill set, they got this skill set, but we both feel called to be world builders and we come in like, that's dope, because then our work complements and then the ideas flow. But when I think of, I ain't got time to be playing what typically is put on women for a support role. Like, I'm not gonna be the cooker or the cleaner. I don't mean like that's not how my time is best suited.
And that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like that, I think that should be recognized, because you still have men out here that's like, oh, I ain't touching the dishes, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing this, and it's like, why not?
Because I will. My problem I'm having is right now they got to come into my house, but otherwise somebody would be coming to clean, and I already do pay for meals.
Right, and
I know how to cook though. I just don't like it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Even if it's a situation where both of y'all feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, then like you said, hire somebody, whatever the case may be. I just think is more situation. So maybe I shouldn't use the word lead, like you said. If their ideas or their role complements you, then it makes everything better. I'm one of those people that wholeheartedly believe like, yo, this could be my vision over here. Like, all right, I remember when we were getting ready to move, my ex was like, yo, we need to get at least, instead of a 2-bedroom house, let's get a 3-bedroom house. And I'm like, what do we need a 3-bedroom house for? And she was like, because you podcast. And at the time when I was really, really podcasting seriously, like, she for real, when I came home one day and it's like, you remember, and I thought this was the cutest shit. You remember Hustle and Flow when they put up all the McDonald's cups? I came home one day and it's that shit all around the room. She done bought a new little desk. I love candles, right? And she went and bought me the like, it was like peaceful and like serene place was the smell or something. And like everything she did, now don't get me wrong, she didn't go to none of my night. Like she went to events, but like she wasn't the one that was all up in my situation, but she was supportive as hell. You know what I mean? Like, nah, this ain't my stick. I don't podcast. I might listen to your show twice a month, but if this is what the fuck you doing, I'm about to push you. You know what I mean?
That's what I want. Right.
Right.
But
and I
gender
feel
roles
like,
don't always make like, so it's harder for me to find that than it is for you to find that. At least in my, that's a belief I have that I
well, and
would
that's what I
that
was about
right
to
away.
say. As men, as cisgender men, we have to wholeheartedly understand that that same amount of push and respect and cheerleading, for lack of a better term, that we want, we got to give it right back. You know what I mean? If like she wanted to go and actually she stopped going to school to be a nurse, and she was working on like working her way up the ranks through like managerial experience in the restaurant industry, and she was very good. And it was like, even though I saw like different pitfalls, I never was like, nah, you can't do that. Of course you can do it. You might have to go around this way, you might have to go around that way, but I could never imagine somebody being that supportive for me and letting me lead in that situation, and me not be the follower while you leading in a totally different, you know what I mean? You got your own
I can't
dreams.
imagine it, but that shit exists.
No, it definitely exists. It definitely exists. And I won't sit here and say I've always been the man that I am today. I definitely wholeheartedly had a closed-minded view of shut the fuck up and you know what I mean, and come on. And I had to realize that, oh my God, you know, right? Like, oh my God.
We gonna be moving some furniture.
You know what I'm saying?
Or I'm gonna just be leaving, really, because I don't like that toxic shit. It hurts my
No,
feelings.
right. And I had to realize I didn't know I was toxic. I think a lot of men don't know they toxic. I think a lot of men think that they telling women, when you tell a woman what to do, you just asserting your male dominance. Nah, player, you kind of look stupid.
This would kill. Don't fucking talk to me like you talk to your boys, because I don't want to talk to you like
Boom.
this.
Boom.
I don't.
Word.
You don't like it when I talk to you like this. You feel all kind of shit. I remind you of goddamn mama and all that shit. Don't fucking talk to me like you talk to your boys.
Yep.
I want to love you, but if I have to defend myself, and that's what I feel like I be having to do in my, like with dudes when they getting all frustrated because they don't know how to handle their feelings and all that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've done some intergenerational trauma healing and healed some of my own toxic shit. Kind and patient is the way to be for me. I don't want to respond. Like, you see how easily I just went into that because it's so normal and natural. I don't want to be that person.
And I agree with
not be that person. And I'm not blaming you, but it's easier when you are kinder and patient than if you are also barking.
Yes. Yes. Wholeheartedly. So, you know, I mean,
and
loving on each side takes work.
You just represent every guy I'm talking to and is out there in the world. Y'all know who y'all are.
I know what you mean. I just think, you know, like loving just takes work. It takes kindness. It takes honesty. Like I said, security. It takes a lot. And the biggest thing about it is what you like. One of the things you've been hitting on a lot is not necessarily projecting roles to be gender specific. Like, you just have to love me for me. Meet me where I am. If this don't work for you, love me enough to walk away. You know,
love yourself enough to find what meets your needs instead of making me feel bad for not.
Boom. That too. We can't be sitting here like, oh my God, you didn't do this. Maybe they was trying, motherfucker.
You chose bad. You got a bad picker. If I ain't what you want, you shouldn't have picked me.
Thank you. And we gotta stop staying in relationships that it's okay to go through something and see if it's gonna get better. It's not okay to continue to repeat the process over and over and over and over again.
I think too many people rely on, like, it's almost like, oh, because we understand what happened and we talk through the understanding of what happened, we won't do this again. But you didn't build no new skill set.
Right.
Like, so for how to handle those feelings that led you to be there. And people think that just because you can talk through and understand with awareness what happened in the past, that's the same thing as being able to generate a solution for a different outcome in the future.
Man, if you don't say that again.
People think that just because you can talk through with self-awareness something that happened in the past, that is equivalent for knowing how to generate a solution for a different future. And it is not.
It is not. You are right.
And so you said earlier too, help is what's necessary. Or this the thing. Here y'all are. We've been talking about relationships. I just want to give you these tips. This is from Daniel Gottman. Right? You need a recovery cycle after you break up. For every one kink in the armor, you need 5 patches.
Okay.
Because them kinks ring loud. Now, I think it's more for us in a traumatized community because we come with more pain than just ours to the table.
Right.
So then you need probably make it 10. You could set this up, but that means that for our relationship, every time we go through a kink, it is our standard of practice to do things to recover because we just went through something. We understand that it is our job to maintain our bond because we decided to have this union. And so if we go through something, we don't just have makeup sex. We have makeup sex. We have deep, intimate conversation. I buy you a gift because gifts is your love language. I make sure that I give you a lot of hugs and rub your head because physical touch is your love language. I am extra doting and reassuring because I know you might be fragile because we just went through some hurt. It means that even though, like, I'm your partner in this hurt and in this recovery.
Right.
Because I understand we both created the hurt, and so we both need to create the recovery. But if you don't do that, then you leave. That is how resentment gets more room to fester. Because then, as you always do. But in doing the recovery cycle, you are literally doing a different thing, and you're taking action to create a new future.
Right. you got to recover the right way. That's dope. I never would have thought about that. That's dope as shit. Like, because you're right. A lot of times we talk about things, we understand them, but we don't set parameters. We don't set boundaries. A lot of people think boundaries inside relationships are things that shouldn't happen, and they definitely should be there. And without recovering properly, you continue to mend and create the same hurt without knowing it. You know. So.
And in a trauma-informed relationship, so like if you Black and you coming together, and frankly, everybody got a little bit of trauma. So, but if you understand some of the way, like it would behoove every individual within earshot or view of this show to get yourself to be more trauma informed, understand how trauma shows up in physical reaction, and then learn techniques to calm that reaction. Because right. If when we talking, I get defensive, now my amygdala is fired up. My adrenaline is going, and whatever physiological responses I have from childhood and whatever stored memories in my body are more likely to react. In a trauma-informed relationship, you understand that I'm having like now we separate from the argument if you're not triggered too. And so then it's like, oh, okay, so now we got to do, and it's like, I can't engage with you when that is happening because I'm just perpetuating your trauma. Right. Let's do the, come on now, we need to do these grounding techniques because we are, you know what I'm saying, 5 deep breaths. Let's take a minute and write a letter to make sure we have our thoughts lined out so we don't taking responsibility for the fact that my body want to fight you. You know, like there right. are things that you do but you do it because you accept that, all right, we show up to the table with all these responses already programmed. How do we work together to heal these responses? Right. Because we love each other. We both want to be better.
Right. And that's what it needs to be. It needs to be getting better from the aspect of loving each other, as opposed to, like you said, coming to the table with just ready-made responses and not listening or not healing, not learning, not loving. So.
And those who can't do, teach. So if y'all want to hire me, I'm really good at observing from the outside. Hey. In the middle, I be side-eyeing all the time. I'm working on it, though. I'm healing. I had a whole generational release this past weekend. Who knows how much better I'll be. Right. All right, so Penrose, I don't know if you remember this from last time because I sure forgot to tell you ahead of time. But just because you a regular monthly comfy couch co-host now, don't mean that you don't get to ask Alexis stuff. It means, frankly, you'll be better at in the end of the day, ask Alexis questions that I have to answer.
Oh.
But sometimes none of your business is the answer.
Okay.
So you got to be skillful with it. So while you thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Jeopardy music. No, I'm just playing. But
what piece of okay? How can I word this? what piece of advice, if you honestly could go back and think of what piece of advice could younger Alexis give Alexis now that will make your life continue to go on the path that you want to be on? I think sometimes we say, what would we say to our older self? What could you take from a spot in your past life or your younger life that wholeheartedly keeps you on the path that you're on now, or in makes that path better, I guess?
Love who loves you.
Yeah.
Put
Simple.
the effort in loving to the people who love you, not into the people who don't.
I can dig it.
To get the love. That is not how that works at all, younger Alexis. No matter how much you love somebody that doesn't know how to love you, they won't learn.
Right.
Right?
I can dig
Love
it.
who knows how to love you. That's where your effort should flow.
I can dig it. I like it. That's what's up.
All right, Penrose, well then close us out. You know what I'm saying? I open this up. You close us out.
Well, this has been another episode of the Comfy Couch. Thank you for allowing me to grace your platform. For everybody that's within airdrop of our voice or within sight of the camera, I would like you to understand that 1, you are enough. 2, change, like Pac said, change is good for all of us. And 3, if you operate from a space of love, you literally don't have to worry about operating from any other space because it'll all already be taken care of. So,
words of wisdom. Boom. Candy cane drop.